Nikki here with the Module 13 reflection over copyright. The first question, after reviewing the copyright and fair use websites, which areas surprised you the most? I'm not sure there was too much that was surprising, growing up, writing papers, as far back as I can remember, teachers were very, very strict on making sure that we knew what was correct and what was not correct and what we could use and what we couldn't use. So there wasn't too much that was surprising in that aspect on the copyright. I'd say most teachers growing up, they made sure we knew what we could and couldn't use and how to cite them correctly, and so not too much of that was surprising. What examples have I experienced where educators have broken copyright laws or fair use policies, and is it really big? It is a really big deal. Somebody put their time and effort into creating a PowerPoint, an article, a video, whatever it may be. Somebody put their time and effort into it, and obviously it's really good if you're wanting to use it, and you definitely do need to make sure you are citing and giving them the credit that is due. And if you're not supposed to use it, don't use it, or go about it the correct way and make sure that you have their approval and are 100% legal in how you use it. I cannot think of any times where an educator has broken copyright laws, mainly because, they were always drilling it into us, so, lead by example. They were having to make sure that they were staying legal and not copywriting, because, let's be honest, as a student, if you see that they're copywriting, either you're going to call them out or you're going to do it and be like, well, but you did it. So, that's the hard part as a teacher, is making sure that you're not copywriting and you're citing and giving credit where credit is due. How did I score on the quiz? I got an 84. I think the one that surprised me was the teacher that created his own grading program and transferred and then forgot to delete the program, and the school continued to use it, and so then he sued the school. It makes sense when you think about it, I guess. It just was a little surprising that if he created the program and others were using it while he was there, I guess it was one of those, why was it such a big deal? But it makes sense why it was a big deal in the end. He did create it. It was his program, so he obviously didn't want others using it. So it makes sense. Another one, and we see this kind of a lot, the high school video class that produced the yearbook and had well-known popular music clips. That one, it surprised me just because I have seen it done, and either people aren't thinking about it or they're not realizing that they're copywriting, but I have seen it, and I guess that's what surprised me, is that schools are so strict on copyright, but I have seen them sell things like that before, and so I guess it just didn't even process that they are copywriting, and they need to stop and figure out what else they can do, because that could get them into big trouble, especially where a lot of schools do sell that. But this section was very informative and just kind of refreshed and reminded me, is when I get into the classroom, what I have to make sure my students are doing so they're not copywriting and we're not getting in trouble. But it was very informative and a very good section.